So the saying from the movie, what's it? What is that movie? The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist. The Usual Suspects, that's it. And time again, I find myself talking to people here and there, I would say, about the malevolent forces in the world. Okay? And not indirectly, I would say, whether it be the pharmaceutical companies, whether it be government, whether it be media, or whatever it is. I mean, I don't know, it comes up in discussions here and there, or whatever it is, but people, they're very naive, I would say, obviously, to this idea of evil, so to speak. Now, for myself, I define evil as unconscious, okay, and that lacks empathy. That's what I think evil is about, hands down, is a lack of empathy. In fact, I think that one way that you can sort of measure the level of evolution in consciousness in a society, a culture, is the level of empathy, okay? And empathy in regards to respect and the sacredness of the another's divinity, okay, and also obviously nature's divinity, animals' divinity, etc. Right? So there's a respect for the holistic, authentic, genuine nature, okay, of each other, of the planet, of whatever it might be, okay, etc. And evil, in a sense, is that which takes for itself, okay, that which deceives, that which mocks, that which manipulates, whatever it is, and that which disguises itself as good, okay, as benevolent, like Disney. Disney is a great example of a kids' television channel program or whatever it is, raises children, and is seen as completely, I don't know, sweet, endearing, cute, educational a lot of the times, adventurous, whatever it might be, talks the language of children, etc., etc. And it's just pure. It's pure fun a lot of the time. It's pure adventure. It's very, very innocent. And but it's not. As you know, if you've done a little bit of research and you're a little bit sensitive to it, I mean, all you have to do now is switch on any one of the many Disney movies that there are. Okay, and whether you want to go back, I don't know, a few decades ago, whatever it is, a few decades ago was better. There was more morals and ethics, and there was, something, there really was. I mean, The Lion King, for example, I think that was Disney. I mean, you know what I mean. The ideas, even like Peter Pan, Pinocchio, whatever it is, there was something there, and it was, But okay, let's just say in the last decade or two, if you have to look even at any children's movie or TV series or whatever it is, TV shows, and you have the eyes to see, you can pick it up, right? You can feel it. You can say that this is harmful, right? There's no question about it. But the thing is that, again, so it's disguised. So the evil is disguised. It's disguised in, like, with the good intentions, okay? And that's the biggest problem that I think humanity faces, is that evil is dressed up. It's a wolf in sheep's clothing, okay? And people don't realize it. And people don't realize that evil feeds, right? Evil is self-serving, okay? And I don't think people know the difference between good and evil, in fact. And how I've mentioned before is that if you look into the primates, right, a certain, especially the monkey kingdom, right? There is an intense lack of empathy there, right? I mean, there really is, to a massive degree. Now, I don't know whether this is so relevant, but I do feel, which I haven't yet made mention of, is that I think we are all great apes, right? And we're all evolving. And I think that when we de-evolve and we regress, right? The main thing is that we lose empathy. Sorry, I know I'm going all over the show here. So we lose empathy, we lose sensitivity, okay? And we go back into the reptilian brain, right? And and so on and so forth. And we become primates, all right? And and what I have realized is that, like, within certain species of primates, whatever it is that, well, this is how I look at it, is that, monkeys are mischievous. They're always looking to get one up. They are always looking to get one up. And they sly, they cunning, okay? They're very quick. I mean, I tell you why, because I have a vegetable garden, I try and grow it, and I'm always fending off the monkeys, okay? And obviously, yes, human beings have moved into the monkeys' territory and whatever it is, but I can tell you at the same time that human beings have always probably struggled with monkeys, throughout of history, okay, especially in the warmer climates, where you find more so monkeys and whatever it is, that human beings have really struggled with living with monkeys because of their lack of understanding of what is important to you. I mean, they can't understand it. Monkeys can't understand it, like I've said before. And it's, some people say it's, oh, when I tell the story, they think it's so cute. But like monkeys will come into my bedroom and they'll steal, for example, the dental floss, which is not terrible, but sometimes they'll steal my vape juice, which costs a lot of money. Or they'll steal anything that's shiny, and run out with it. I mean, it could be a USB drive, right? It's got no real value to them, but they don't understand value to me, okay? And I can go on about monkeys in a sense where they don't even really respect one another. It's all a hierarchy. It's all based on the alpha male, and so the monkeys at the top rule the troops, okay, and whatever they say goes. And I mean, if a monkey feels threatened by another infant, by a woman that gives birth, and just feels threatened, the monkey, in certain species, the monkey will kill the infants. I mean, if a monkey from another troop manages to kill the alpha male of another troop, it'll kill all the infants at the same time. Probably see them as a threat or whatever it is. And monkeys themselves, I've seen monkeys that are the adults, the ones at the top, they'll eat as much as they can, be fat and greedy, and then the children, whatever, not the children, but the smaller monkeys that will want to take the food and whatever it is, and they just hit them away, It's really awful to see how monkeys treat each other. I mean, there's nothing personal about them. Right, I mean, they'll fight, they will bite each other. I mean, depending, they'll play rough or whatever it is, but sometimes they will. The one will try and take the other one's food and they'll just give it a crack and whatever it is. But then there's nothing, they don't hold anything personal to the other monkeys. They don't get pissed off with the other monkeys or hold a chip on their shoulder like human beings do or whatever it is. They get over it, right? But with monkeys, it's a constant effort to try and become, for status, constant status building. That's what it's about. Trying to get to the top, okay? Trying to mate, pass on their genes, okay? And so on and so forth. And so the thing is that if you look at, I don't know how I'm going on from this side, but, if you look at how monkeys are, right, the primates, and how similar human beings are, when human beings regress and they de-evolve, we become the same, right? We become primarily based on status, okay? Status orientated. Like that quote from the movie Revolver where he says, we're just monkeys wrapped in suits, begging for the approval of others. And folks, if you look around, and you take away all the symbols, because we've just been, entrained with symbols, and if you took away, like I'm saying, the Gucci and the Armani and the Ferrari and the whole label game and whatever it is, if you took it all away, what you would see essentially behind it all mostly is people that are just looking to get the approval of others, to try and get other people to look at them as somebody important. I mean, we have celebrity worship in this culture, to such a large degree, where people like Beyonce and Jay-Z are seen as the king and the queen, and they are absolutely worshipped and adored. So we know that, that the celebrity, Sodom, and also he who has the gold makes the rules. Who has the most money seems to be the most popular, famous, and just really smart, intelligent, brilliant, all-rounder. Like, it doesn't matter if a guy's a billionaire, but he's, done terrible things. People don't see that. They only see his wealth and his status, and that's how shallow it all is, folks. It really is when you break it all down. Society and culture and consumerism and capitalism. That's all that it is. It's so shallow. It's so superficial that it's all about status, right? It really is, and who's at the top of the pyramid type of thing, right? And it doesn't matter again how the person made their money, right? It doesn't matter what they've done to the climate, or what pharmaceutical company they own, or whatever it is. That's not important. Even in this country, if you're government and you've stolen the people's money, but you're a very wealthy individual, they worship you. They see you as royalty, right? Even though you've stolen from the very peoples that's supposed to, for their own well-being, to build hospitals, to build houses, to build schools. These very people have stolen and siphoned the money, and a lot of people they don't even see that. They just see the fancy cars that they're driving, or the fact that they walk with bodyguards or something like that, or they own a house in Dubai, an apartment or something like that. And so that's it, folks. We're just monkeys. And I'm not just saying, I'm saying all cultures, all races, right, are great apes. We really are. I mean, we're very closely aligned. I think it's 99% genetically aligned to chimpanzees, I think they say 3 to 6% or something like that of people walk around with Neanderthal DNA, right? And so, also, we don't know where we came from, folks. I know I've possibly mentioned this before, but it's worth mentioning again, is that because also we need to understand, I mean, this gets quite controversial, but the idea of racism, where does racism come from, right? And it's a very, very deep ingrained into the psyche and psychology of our own being and the primate mind, or whatever it is. I mean, the psyche, there's a lot to this. But I do feel that to some degree, well, whatever it is, that, I mean, for example, Africa, or South Africa in particular, is the cradle of humankind. South Africa is the idea of where, monkeys first originated from. I mean, sort of started becoming more bipedal, or whatever it was, and, walked off the plains of the Sahara, which is now the Sahara deserts, but to make way into the other parts of the world. So now, on the one hand, some people will claim, monkeys were genetically modified. Others, DNA was manipulated. Others will say, well, through psychedelics, Terence McKenna's idea, and whatever it is that, monkeys taking mushrooms under the cow pies, developed higher states of consciousness and awareness, and whatever it is. And, that's very interesting as well. Okay. But it seems to be that there is, still evolution going on. There's no question about it. Okay. And it just seems that, I don't know, I feel that morality and empathy shows an indication of the evolution, right? And if you look at certain, for example, like, well, it's cooperation, not competition. Like, that's why I think Amish people do so well, because there's cooperation, it's not competitiveness, and it's not based on status, right? But I also think it's very dogmatic, so it's very controlling in a way, and it's very one-dimensional, okay? It's not so free-spirited in any sort of way, and so it's not balanced and not healthy. But they certainly have cooperation, and they certainly live holistically, okay? I don't know. I don't think there's any country in the world that is very conscious. I think consciousness and empathy lies in small pockets within the individual, right? And and it's very, very small, and it's getting less and less. And there is a virus of narcissism that is overtaking this world. There's no question about it. And narcissism, again, is a going back, is a sort of survival response to the world. Okay, and it's all about me, and I take, and it's all about my survival. All right, I think that's what narcissism is. I think it's very primate, and that's how we're de-evolving. We're becoming more narcissistic. Are we self-serving? And I'm saying again, like within monkeys, right? They're not really so much friends. It's like, if you watch The Sopranos, right? That's exactly how monkeys operate with the alpha male. All the troops. It's funny how we call soldiers troops, because monkeys, we call them troops of monkeys. I mean, it's very interesting that. So it's like, what are we saying about soldiers? You understand? And we say monkey business as well. I mean, so we align. But, I mean, I'm going all over the show. But if you look at The Sopranos, right? With the alpha male and all the other part of the mafia, right? They weren't really good friends. They just grouped together in order to have power in numbers and support for one another, right? They weren't genuine, because if one of them wanted to break out of the mafia, then he possibly could be killed, right? Or he's seen as a traitor. So you are only as good as you are by serving in the mafia itself, okay? And then doing the dirty deeds for the mafia. And basically, a lot of the time what the mafia was doing was that you were uplifting the boss. You were doing the work for the boss, and then you would get like a little bit of the breadcrumbs that fall off, right? And you'd get protection, whatever it is. But they weren't really friends. And when I look at monkeys, and I've studied them quite a bit, right? I mean, researched a bit. They're not really pals, because they'll backstab each other very, very quickly, right? And they'll turn against each other in an instant if there's a opportunity for power. It's the same thing as human beings, right? It's the same thing as human beings. And I mean, like, the lower ranking monkeys need to curry favor all the time with the alpha male and possibly the alpha female, or the royalty, the monkeys that are at the top. They need to be grooming them. They need to be bringing them food. They need to be entertaining their children, playing with the children. Even though the children can abuse the lower-ranking monkeys, the lower-ranking monkeys cannot fight back against the children of the royals. I was watching a documentary. It was interesting that the royals' monkeys that are sort of babysitted by the lower-ranking monkeys, the other monkeys will take food out of the lower-ranking monkeys' mouths, and the lower ranking monkeys have got to let them, basically, and not fight them. Doesn't this sound the same as human beings? Like, when you get the babysitter or the housekeeper who has to look after the children, and the children goes and throws, let's say, an apple or, I don't know, something at the housekeeper, the babysitter, and the babysitter wants to smack the child or like shout at the child, and it's like, well, dare you shout at the child, dare you, and you'll see what happens to you, type of thing. And so that's it. So, I mean, these are just all different points that are coming up that I'm sort of tying in here. But like, so that's it. It's like, if we're de-evolving and becoming more narcissistic and more self-serving, right? And narcissism, what's narcissism about? It's all about me, okay? It's all about that I want to be the alpha male, or I want to be the alpha female. I need other people's attention and approval to say that I matter. And that's what the alpha male is always doing, within the monkeys, within the tribe of monkeys, is always constantly trying to show its might, show its force. Like, it will break up potential friendships as well. Like, the alpha male will look and see, well, these two guys, not friendships, but are starting some kind of collaboration here. They're possibly going to overthrow me. So the alpha male will block them and fight them off, Or if he sees a male that's coming towards one of his females to mate, he's always, I'm always at the top of the rung, type of thing. And that's I understand. That's natural in monkeys, in the primates, because they need some kind of leadership. I can see, otherwise it's going to be all over the show. The monkeys will be just running amok, and they need some kind of leader. But what I'm saying, in human beings, in human nature, empathic human beings don't need leaders. We don't need a pyramid structure. We don't need royalty or hierarchy when we self-governing, right? And we are more conscious and we're empathic. We don't need it. Right, we absolutely don't need it because we can be governing ourselves, we can be taking self-responsibility. And what you see on this planet is people that do not take self-responsibility, do not self-actualize, do not believe in their own ability and believe in their own power and their own spirit and their own potential and their own ability to think. They don't. They've handed that over completely, surrendered it to the experts. Okay, and therefore that's why we need these kind of leaderships. That's why we need governments. But governments do more harm than good, no matter where you are around in the world. They create more wars than are absolutely necessary, right? They do very, very little good, but yet they are, they're the big daddies, and that's how it works. And so, just ending off here, folks, is that it's understanding. Right, empathy is understanding what is sacred, what is holistic, right? What is authentic, and not to try and, because this is another point that I wanted to make in regards to what irritates the conscious person. What gets under the skin of an empathic person? What irritates, a sensitive soul? Or a soul being? What is it? Right? And what it is for myself is that which mocks the sacred, that which mocks the holy, right? That which pretends, that which deceives, right? It could be just as much as, I was inspired to do this talk by seeing that, I'm staying in an Airbnb and they put, which was a very nice gesture of the host, they left me with some orange juice in a box, one of these boxed orange juices, and it says 100%, so I'm like, wow, 100%, and it says orange juice blend, or something like that, and I'm like, hell no, that's not even anywhere, that doesn't even come close to what orange juice is about, that it says it's got how many, apparently orange juices, these kind of juices have got more sugar than Coca-Cola. You say to yourself, but then why do you say 100%? Why don't you do, so you know what I'm saying. So those kind of things not bother me, but I'm saying I observe them. I observe people that take advantage. The other day here in Johannesburg, I'm here in Johannesburg, there's two places that one can go for a walk. That's all there is. And, someone, not even nature. The one is sort of the back of a golf course. The other one is a nature reserve. And because there's only two places, and it's hard to get into it, they've hiked their prices up. Because, with this whole CV story, people have been doing more exercise and they've been getting out more. They can't go to restaurants, can't really go to the shopping centers, not much to do. So, that, they've been being active, which is great. But so now this one place has seen it as an opportunity to hike up their prices. Just to go for a walk, they wanted 50 Rand. 50 Rand, I couldn't believe it. So when I went up to the guy, first on the window, it said 30 Rand. And I thought, well, that's very steep. I'm just going for a walk here. And it's nothing fancy, folks. There's nothing really there. It's just walking, and it's not a big place to walk. And so I go there and it's like 30 Rand on the door, and I walk inside and they said, no, 50 Rand. I said, 50 Rand. And they laughed at me and said, what's the problem, bro? I said, I'm going for a walk here. They said, well, then you should take a membership. I said, I live in Durban. I'm here for, once a month. Or barely, I don't live here. She said, so what's the problem? I said, what do you mean, what's the problem? I said, you guys are crazy here. 50 Rand. He's like, well, then go somewhere else. Take your business somewhere. I said, well, there's nowhere else really to go. So you guys have obviously monopolized it completely, and you don't care. He says, what, just get out the store. They were laughing at me. The three guys behind the counter. They were laughing at me. I felt so humiliated. I thought to myself, where's your conscience? Now I'm talking about something small, but that really digs me. That really gets to me. It's like so unfair. But not only that, not only do they say, because they don't own the company, they should say, you're right, bro, it's quite steep. I understand you. I feel where you're coming from. Because no, they're like saying, bro, get out of here. Like, you cheapskate, move on. We've got whatever, you don't belong here. And that's the attitude. And I thought, and so these things really get to me. And so again, injustices, fakery, inauthenticity, the superficiality, destroying nature, to put up parking lots, cutting down trees so we can, whatever it is, harming, hurting, destroying for our own comforts, for our own greed, for our own satisfaction, whatever it is. And then mockery of spirituality, so-called, the new age and meditation. I'm saying not genuine meditation, but you know what I mean. Like all of the, whatever it is, people that mock virtual signaling, right? We're fighting for this cause because we really believe in it. No, you don't believe in it. You're just virtual signaling. That which, again, just pretends, the pretense, the inauthenticity, the so-called evil. For the conscious sensitive soul, these things are absolutely odious, offensive, putrid. It's defile. It's just detritus. It really is when life is, and the sacred and the holy is mocked, is destroyed, is sold for the whatever it is. I mean, like, I just imagine what it'd be like for, I don't know, maybe some sort of people living in nature, like Native Americans. I mean, those, even the terms are terrible, but like the Red Indians, let's just say, that's better. Like the Red Indians, and they've lived on that land maybe for like 2,000 years, and their ancestors and they are buried there. I mean, they, whatever it is, but yet there's some oil that one of that BP want to extract from under the ground of their village. So they could, and it's not a lot, but it's something. And so the BP company people come along and say, move off now, and so what are you talking about? Who gives you the right? And they come in, the BP come in with the army, with guns, to these Red Indians that have no means to protect themselves. They can't, with their bows and arrows, or whatever it is, let's just say, whatever it is. I mean, and they're not violent people, they're not aggressive people. They're very sacred, they're very holistic, they're very connected to the earth and the soil, and they see it all, and they just can't believe it. They can't believe, like, how can these people come and destroy everything that, what we're about, in a way, and, for oil. So they can put more cars on the road or something like that, or they can create more plastic from the oils or whatever. Like, how dare they? And I'm saying it would be such a far stretch for the Red Indian to try and understand, let's just say, the white man or the BP or the the economists or whatever it is, the not the white man necessarily, but you know what I mean. They would see it as the white man type of thing. Be like, how can this be the case? Like, no, what are they out of their minds? Have they no empathy? Have they no idea? And they have no idea. It's like in that movie Avatar. Maybe some of you are thinking about that, where they want the unattainable or something. I don't know what it's called, whatever it is, and they're like willing to destroy the whole city of the non-people. I don't know what they're called, just so they can get their material. And so, like, we cannot understand. I mean, this is what irritates. This is what really challenges the conscious, sensitive soul, is how corrupt people can be, how evil people can be, how narcissistic they can be. We cannot understand it. We cannot fathom it. It's such an impossibility to understand, because we can align ourselves with so much love, so much beauty, right? So much meaning, and that other people can take the very radiance of that and destroy it, right? The very goodness of it, and trying to destroy it and deplete it, right? The innocence of it, they try, and they mock it, and that's what irritates the conscious person. That what gets under the skin, right? And that's the evil that for ourselves, so many of us, we feel that inundated with, overwhelmed. It's like everywhere we look now, levels of unconsciousness, right? The levels of depravity, the levels of narcissism, nihilism, or whatever it is, self-destruction, you name it. You just look around and whatever it is, and there it is. It's in your face. Because it's the end of history. It's the end of an era. It's the end of a time. And so it's the darkest before the dawn. And not for everybody will there be a dawn, because most people do not want a dawn, a true dawn, right? A true world, an authentic place, dimension based on, I mean, it's all based on love in a way, but more, they don't want that. Most people don't want the light. Most people do not want peace. I'm telling you, they want fear. They want to be controlled. They don't want freedom. Okay? They don't want goodness. How many people have I met? They don't want goodness. They don't want well-being. They don't want holistic whatever. They don't want balance. They want chaos. They want to be controlled. Right? They want to be exploited. Like you see, and I'm carrying on here, but like in porn, okay? When I used to watch it, obviously I can't stomach it now. But how the woman wanted to be exploited, and you could see it. I don't know, a friend sent me a picture, not even a friend, somebody, I don't know how it came to me, of a woman, who was being in a position with like a few men or something like that, and you could see she's being completely exploited, and that there's almost like a sick enjoyment to a certain degree in that moment in her face. It was horrific. I was like tremendously offended, but that's what I realized. It's like basically, exploit me, just tear me apart, right? Whatever it is, and people get high off that. That's what disturbing porn is about. That's what I find. What do you call it? Whatever kind of porn. You know what I mean? It's not like soft porn, hardcore porn. That's what it's about. And especially, I'm sorry to say, folks, but people who like the type of porn with children involved, or underage children, where they're being, by some man or whatever. Oh, it's horrific. But people love that. They want to see the innocence destroyed, It's like brilliant. He says in in the movie Batman, what's his name? The Alpheus. No, not Alpheus. The, Batman's, what do you call it? Sort of confidant, but who takes care of his house. Played by, I'm going to forget all these names now. Let me just pause. Oh, I can't remember right now, but it's the one with the guy who died, with Heath Ledger, that band. I think, I can't remember what it's called, but not The Dark Knight. Maybe it was, I can't remember, it doesn't matter, but Bruce Wayne, who is Batman, is speaking to the guy with the white hair, the Englishman, who's known him his whole life. I can't remember his name. And, he says to him, Bruce, you won't be able to understand the mind of the Joker. He says, that's your problem. You can't understand the depravity of him. So he tells him the story of, I can't remember exactly, but the main quote, he says, because Bruce is trying to understand the Joker's intentions. Like, he can't understand it. And Alpheus, let's just say his name's Alpheus, it's not Alpheus, says to him, you don't understand. He says, some men just want to see the world burn. You hear that? Some men just want to see the world burn. And again, like that quote from Fight Club that I've shared before, where Edward Norton, is beating up Jared Leto, that very, very, disturbing scene where he's punching the lights out, he's punching his teeth out, he's just really destroying his face and not, really going full tilt where he doesn't need to. And he's saying that he wanted to, put a bullet between every panda they wouldn't mate to save a species. He wanted to open the tank valves and, on French beaches, all the French beaches that he never saw. He wanted to destroy something beautiful. He wanted to breathe smoke. And that's where a lot of humanity are actually at. Is that they're wanting to destroy something beautiful, and that which is beautiful, first and foremost, is within themselves. You understand what's going on here, that's what people wanting are ultimately out to destroy, is the goodness in themselves. They have been tricked. Again, the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world it didn't exist. What does the devil want you to do? To destroy yourself, to offer yourself in sacrifice to him. Okay, now I'm speaking about the devil in a metaphoric way, obviously. But that's what I mean. It wants you to destroy your godliness, your divinity, right? And give in and so you can devote yourself to its will. And that's what's going on. And in this post-human, artificial, what do you call it, transhumanism world, that will be the final nail in the coffin of what humanity, what was left of humanity, the last chapter of humanity's existence before we become, transhuman. Then we won't be able to even, there will be no freedom of choice left whatsoever, even though it's so limited now, but there will be almost nothing left. And so we'll be completely controlled and programmed and without even knowing it. I mean, and that's it. And so the soul, and if you ask yourself, what is going on a metaphysical, spiritual level on this planet? It's a war for the soul, folks. Now that's intense. Now you can't tell, most people this. You can't discuss this with them because they'll think you absolutely have lost the plot. Do you understand what I'm saying? We're getting so deep into the heart of what this is about, of what this incarnation is about, what this world is about, what this time is about. Right? And what that is, it's a war for the soul. It's a war for the spirit. It's profound, folks. And that's why it's such a heavy dose right now. Because it's the final chapter. It's the final chapter. And so again, the positive side is that it's the darkest before the dawn. And the dawn is coming for those with the soul intact. They don't need to go down the transhuman route, right? They don't need to go down this route because they wish to be sovereign. They wish to be loving, beautiful, empathic, sensitive, cooperative, selfless in a healthy way. And if you made it this far in this talk, I think you're one of those people. I think and you know that by now, surely. All right, folks, thank you for taking the time. This is good chat we're having here. I really appreciate the opportunity. We'll chat soon. Take care.